Hello, I'm Hosun Jung, majoring in educational counseling. My presentation is Chapter 8. Let's look at the table of contents first. 1. Introduction. In this chapter, I will examine the SDGs primarily for what they tell us about the state of the education and development debate, both in terms of how far the SDGs offer a new vision of education for development, and in terms of how the accounts explored in the previous chapters offer a commentary on the SDGs. 2. The Sustainable Development Goals. The UN General Assembly, in its meeting on 25th September 2015, adopted the resolution that proposed 17 Sustainable Development Goals and 169 associated targets. The SDGs are universal goals and targets which involve the entire world, developed and developing countries alike, and consequently all countries agreed to work for achieving them, alongside the continuing development priorities such as poverty eradication, health and well-being, education for all, and food security and nutrition. SDGs set out a wide range of economic, social, and environmental objectives, promise more peaceful and inclusive societies, and define the means of implementation of the goals and targets. Supporters of the SDGs argue that the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is a values-based framework. Here is the text for the 17 goals. Goal 1. No poverty. Goal 2. Zero hunger. 3. Good health and well-being. Goal 4. Quality education. 5. Gender equality. 6. Clean water and sanitation. 7. Affordable and clean energy. 8. Decent work and economic growth. 9. Industry, innovation and infrastructure. 10. Reduced inequalities. 11. Sustainable cities and communities. 12. Responsible consumption and production. 13. Climate action. 14. Life beyond water. 15. Life on the land. 16. Peace, justice, and strong institutions. 17. Partnership for the goals. 3. Education in the SDGs. Do you remember Goal 4? Goal 4 is quality education. This goal is SDG 4, which will be the main topic in this chapter. SDG 4 is explicitly the education goal. SDG 4 ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. However, education appears explicitly in a number of targets under the other goals. There are 10 targets of SDG 4, and look at one of them, 4.7. 4.7 by 2030 ensure that all runners acquire the knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, including, among others, through education for sustainable development and sustainable lifestyles, human rights, gender equality, promotion of a culture of peace and nonviolence, global citizenship and appreciation of cultural diversity and of cultural contribution to sustainable development. 4. Education and the SDGs. Global Education Monitoring Report (GEMR) is based in UNESCO in October 2016. It was entitled Education for People and Planet: Creating Sustainable Futures for All. Let's look at Goal 1 to 8 of education's role in delivering TRL SDG 16. Goal 1. No poverty. Education is critical to lifting people out of poverty through increasing their chances of getting work and their likely incomes. Goal 2. Zero hunger. Education plays a key role in helping people move towards more productive and sustainable farming and food production methods, and in understanding nutrition. Goal 8. Decent work and economic growth. There are the standard human capital arguments here. These are combined with an argument that green industries are dependent on higher skills, in an important move compared to the MDGs. There is a strong emphasis on higher skills as being important both for economic growth and for greater equity. As you can see in education's role in delivering the other SDGs, SDGs and education interact. 5. Threats to the SDG vision for education and development. The 2016 Education Commission, or International Commission on Financing Global Education Opportunity. The preface illustrates that a right capital discourse still works for this kind of text, designed as it is to generate funding. The title is immediately striking. Education, the best investment the world can make. But this is followed by text that reads more like the fundraising material of an NGO than a global report. The right approach stresses the importance of placing children's voices at the heart of any decision-making about education priorities. Agenda 2030 uses language about children and youth as key change agents. However, the highly technocratic process of indicator setting silences such non-expect voices. Moreover, there are a number of weaknesses in the draft indicators in right terms. 6. What has happened to existing notions of education for sustainable development? The term sustainable development seems to have first been used in the international agency world in the 1980 World Conservation Strategy. It was popularized in 1988 by the Brundtland Commission report, Our Common Future. This defined sustainable development as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The Fukuyama assumption that environmental sustainability and economic development could be successfully harmonized is the position of Brundtland too. Humanity has the ability to make development sustainable, to ensure that it meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. The concept of sustainable development does imply limits, not absolute limits, but limitations imposed by the present state of technology and social organization on environmental resources, and by the ability of the biosphere to observe the effects of human activities. But technology and social organization can be both managed and improved to make way for a new era of economic growth. Poverty is not only an evil in itself, but sustainable development requires meeting the basic needs of all. A world in which poverty is endemic will always be prone to ecological and other catastrophes. Fair and Scott identify two ideal types of education for sustainable development. In ESD1, the focus is on promoting changed attitudes, behaviors, and skills, what they term learning for sustainable development. By contrast, ESD2 tends toward the more radical position about the complicity of capitalism in environmental degradation. It argues for building a range of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values into the curriculum that are considered necessary to support sustainable futures that need to be struggled for. 7. Conclusion. It is important to acknowledge that the SDGs are particularly in the environmental vision. The fears that education would be excluded from the SDGs proved unfounded. Education elements can be seen across all the SDGs in three ways. First, education is one of a set of factors that contribute to the foundation for development. Second, education is needed to build a right knowledge, skills, and attitudes among the population to achieve the SDGs. Third, development professionals need further education. SDG 4 makes a return to jumping in terms of going beyond primary education and highlighting learning outcomes. SDG 4 language reflects the rise of a new wave of human capital writing in education that goes beyond investing in private education. However, the Agenda 2030 text also reflects some influence from human rights arguments. The progressive nature of SDG 4 is threatened by a move toward narrow measurements and the likelihood that any new money will be targeted still at primary schooling plus early childhood development. There is currently insufficient political commitment to financing SDG 4 by either many national governments or the international community. Education for the SDG is far less radical than the education for sustainable development tradition, and it remains to be seen whether there can be a successful response from the ESD community. Thank you. Thank you very much.